Okay, so today we'll start the networking concept, and in the last class we did Lambda. So let's go further. In networking, as per interview and in the as a DevOps engineer, it's very important. You should know what are the networking concepts, how the flows are working, because at the end of the
Okay.
day, because it will come to you only, and the ticket will come to you in the form of Jira or ServiceNow. They'll come to you why this server is not working, and that point of time you have to deep inside. You have to go inside that particular server. You have to find out why these are not working, why this IP address is having some issues and all. Okay, so these are very important. Okay, so let's start. I'll tell you why we first thing first, like why do we need network? Okay, one can easily ask like why do we need network? Like you can go simply download the cloud and all, but actually for any project, okay, for any single project, first we have to create the landing zone. Landing zone, when you talk about landing zone, like in the in IT world, we call it it's like infra. Infra is nothing but like infrastructure. Infrastructure we create around our application so that it will be secured. When you talk about secure, okay, I'll tell you what I was trying to say. We'll create the launch instance. Just give any name. Okay, okay. Let's give any name. When I'm
Yeah.
going through it, I took the AMI and all the stuff. Okay, here also I took the instance type. Okay, let's go. Just I'm talking. Okay, just let's go without key pair. Now if we'll come to here, the network setting. If I'll go to edit, okay, not even edit. Okay, and not edit. I'm just going with the default one. What will happen if you go with the default one? You chose okay. I'll go with the edit one, and then you'll come to know what I was talking here. VPC. VPC is nothing but a virtual private cloud. I'll talk about it. Okay, I'm just giving you the abbreviation.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Virtual private cloud. Okay, that's called default. Okay, this is default. So
Okay.
when we talk about default means what? So with default we have some limitations. There that means like the security will be very less. Okay, so it is not good for your application. So you are not supposed to use the default one. Okay, for the practicing purpose and all the stuff we can go for it. But eventually in the IT world, in the real time scenario, because we are preparing for some for very meaningful stuff, right? Like we are preparing for interview purpose. Like for that purpose, if I talk about, that means like we interviewer gonna ask only the real time approach. There you cannot say I did for practice, because eventually it will say that they'll cut you down themselves and they'll disconnect the call because they are not looking for those stuff and all. So when you talk about the real-time approach, that means you actually design some kind of infra around your application. Okay. So if I'll talk about
Okay.
this, so if I'll talk about this server, so we are going to use a lot of servers in our project. When you go into the IT world, we are going to use a lot of servers. So all those servers having some IP addresses, some network, some VPC, some subnet. So this is called VPC. Okay, this is default one. So I'm not supposed to use the default one. So if I talk about subnet, here also I can get the default one. I'll show you. These are all the default one only. Okay, these are the name is not there. That means this is the default one. Okay,
Okay.
it's been
Yeah.
our uh, launched by our Amazon. It's been provided by our Amazon. Okay, so that is the reason we are not supposed to
Yeah.
use the the default one. We should always create the like what is the VPC, what is the subnet. This is what we are going to discuss today. Okay, so if I'll eventually tell you you are going to share the infrastructure with everyone on cloud. Okay, but the only thing is but you want everything to be private. Okay, only you should have that so that you can have the full control. Okay, that is the reason, because you always want the good traffic to come in and always want to stop the bad traffic, but these things not possible with the default one. That is the reason I want to have the that what do you call the particular infrastructure. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
VPC one. Okay, so we'll talk about, so we're starting networking today. So this is the one. So it's saying what is VPC. Okay, so if we read it here, you can easily customize the network configuration. As I told you earlier, if you remember what I just said, whenever we're creating an application, we have to create the landing zone. So landing zone is nothing but we are talking about network configuration. Okay.
Okay.
So you can easily customize the network configuration for your Amazon virtual private cloud. For example, you can create a public facing subnet. So subnet is nothing but any network inside the VPC. That's it's kind of subsystem. It's kind of subsystem. Okay, so like
Okay.
you can create a public facing. Okay, I'll tell you what. It's just like the networks are coming. If I'll take any, imagine, okay, imagine this is the server. Okay, this is the server. So request will come. Request will come, right? The request, the customer will send the request. Now that's the reason they are saying public facing subnet. Okay. So
Okay.
public key subnet
Yeah.
for your web server. So web server, which we already discussed, like web server, how we actually created all those web servers. We created the normal web server into web server. Okay. These are nothing but okay.
Correct. Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
access to the internet and place your backend system such as database or application server in a private facing subnet with no internet access. Okay. Okay. So we have subnet of two types. The first one is the public subnet, and another one is the private subnet. Now, when we talk about a public subnet, so public subnet where you have all the web servers. The Flipkart might have all the web servers inside the public subnet, so that's why you can access it. But definitely you cannot see the code. Are you able to see the code of the Flipkart, the backend stuff and all?
Yes.
Can you see the code? The code. I'm talking
Which
about the
code you're
code.
talking about?
I'm talking about Flipkart, the what they have written, the front end, all the database, all the stuff. Can you see that
Yeah. Yeah.
code?
Front and back end. No, I can't see that
Yes,
in
that's
the
what.
screen.
You can't see. You just only see the front end part. What is in GUI, graphic
Exactly.
user interface.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can see that only the Flipkart. Okay, I'll show you. See, so this is what is this? This is nothing but
Front
what is
end.
it?
Front end.
This is what front end. But what's happening at the background? You can't see that. Are you able to see it?
Correct. No, no, I can't see the back
That's
end.
what. That's what I was talking about. Okay. So okay. So this is what, like all those private stuff, private stuff will be there in your database server. You can see here, place your backend system, such as database or other server in a private subnet. So you are not allowed to go into inside the private subnet. And private subnet will have no internet access. So you might ask this question like why how then we are going to access it. For that purpose, there is a component called NAT gateway which we are going to discuss. Okay, through that we put that NAT gateway into the public subnet and then we connect to the private subnet. That's how the private subnet can be accessed. But still, we are not allowed to access the private subnet. Okay, you understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can leverage multiple layer of security, including security groups and network access controllers, that is NSCL, to help control access to the Amazon EC2 instance in each subnet. So that means what? Like we actually provide kind of some kind of layer with the security group, which we all have already discussed, like how we open the port, how we create the open the port number so that only then you can actually go through that particular port number, right? And this is nothing but NACL. NACL is nothing but like network access control layer. So every subnet will have at least one NACL. Okay, because that is an interview question. I'll come to that. That interview question will come. From here, actually, there are only multiple interview questions will come. What is VPC? What is the difference between the public subnet and the private subnet? If the private subnet is not able to access, then how you connect to that? That's how you have to tell all those answers. Okay, the private subnet you connect through the NAT gateway and the internet gateway. Okay, so we'll discuss. Don't worry. I'm just giving a brief because VPC is very important concept. People they actually initially they ask like all the stuff like S3 IM and all. Eventually it starts from EC2 only, but eventually it comes to the VPC. They're gonna ask
Okay.
they're gonna ask the load balancer, the types of load balancer, how you replicated that stuff and all the stuff. Okay, that we already discussed in the previous classes. So, but here when you talk about networking, they really ask it. Okay, they really ask these questions, and you must know these things. That's the reason I'm keep repeating these stuff. What are the interview questions? What is VPC? What is the difference between public subnet? What is the difference between public subnet and private subnet? And what is the difference between NACL and security group? All these things we are going to discuss. Okay, so I'm just giving you some kind of heads up. Okay, this is the one.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, let's go here. So this is very important diagram. Okay, don't be frightened, don't be scared. Okay, but you should know how the things are working over here. Okay, so this is kind of
Okay.
okay. So your application, if you see here, I told you this is the VPC with public and private subnet. Okay, this the diagram which you see, the red mark. Okay, that is nothing but your the boundary. Okay, and I told you where your application resides. Where your application resides. If I'll ask now, I think you know
I
a
didn't
little
get you. Come again.
uh, where your application will be there. In in which part of your application will be there?
The network router.
No, no. Think. It's already the answer is there. Just think. Give 10 seconds, like 10-20 seconds, and think.
I didn't understand your question actually.
I said,
Can you
I
just come
said.
again?
Okay, see, I said any application will be there. Okay, any application. Any
Yeah.
could be web application. That completely application. Where that
Yeah.
application is going to reside.
Server.
Yes, server. Absolutely. The server. When we talk about server, that's nothing but instance.
Instance. Yeah.
You remember? Which I discussed.
Yes.
This is nothing but web
Yes.
server.
Yes. I
So
got it. Yeah.
yeah. So web server is what is it? See, can see instance. Right?
Yes.
That's not this is nothing but okay. So that is what I was talking about. This instance is here, but and my application will be inside this instance. If you remember, in the last class, I told you how I created normal server into the web server. I installed
Yes.
all those HTTP
Yes.
servers
Yes.
and all,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes. I
yes,
remember.
okay,
Yeah.
yes. So my application is here. My application is here, but
In public.
before yes, public subnet. But before that,
Okay.
I have to design all those stuffs. Internet gateway, private gateway, router, route table, network, NACL, security group. That is the subnet. That is the region. That is VPC. All those things will be designed. Okay, these are what you have to do.
Okay.
You understood?
Understood.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now let's talk about the flow part. So when you talk about the flow, okay, so internet will come from internet gateway. This is the component where the internet will pass it. Okay, so if you can ask me like if this is an application, if I talk about this is your application from where you send the
Okay.
request, my request will always come from the internet gateway only. Okay,
Okay.
okay, from internet it'll go to the router. Now we'll talk about the router. Router is nothing but like it is having some kind of router table. So there in router you have the all the router table. There you actually define all your IPs, where it will go, how it will go. So all these things will. So if your request comes here, okay, so this router will decide where it wants to hit. If imagine it's the admin wants to hit to the database server. So the logic will be written in the routing table. So it will redirect, okay, routing table. And still I'll talk about it. So this will pass through this one and go to my private subnet, that is the DB server. So if let's take a case, we are talking about this is the web server and this will be my DB server. And DB server can be accessed only by the admins and
Okay.
web server can be accessed only by the customer. You understood? You
Yeah.
have up to your I mean, like till here you haven't doubt anything. I
In
hope I'm not
security group, there'll be certain restrictions. Only the access people can access the
absolutely.
particular network.
Absolutely. So I'm not going fast, right? It's fine, right? I'm not
No,
going
no,
fast.
no, no.
Okay,
Well and
fine.
good. Well and good.
Okay. So
Good to go.
there are two instances here. So I'm considering this one as a web server. I'm considering this as a database server. And as an admin, I can access both. Definitely, this is my database server. If I want to some modification, I can go and over here database server. I can change it, and it will reflect to the web server. But the customer can access only the web server only. You please make note of that. Okay, this is very important. This is because you should know like what is the difference between, because only then if you understand this concept, no, only then I can go to the NAT gateway. Internet gateway is fine because anyway, it's like kind of gate, like definitely you have in your house you have a door, this kind of door. So only until unless I when I knock the door, you allow me. If you come to know like there is some bad elements and all, you won't allow it. Okay, that is the reason there is an internet gateway. It will always allow the good traffic to come in and will stop the bad traffic. Okay, this is the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so and always I already told you. Okay, so this is all like this is public subnet and this is my private subnet. And always remember NACL, that is nothing but network ACL, access control list. For each subnet, there will be at least one NACL will be there. Then now again, the next interview question: what is the difference between security group? What is the difference between NACL? Okay, so they're gonna ask like what is the difference between security group? What is the NACL? NACL you can say like for each subnet there will be only one NACL. this will always be the first line of defense. It will stop the good traffic.
Okay.
Sorry, it will allow the good traffic and stop the bad traffic. But security group could be anything. Like it can be as many as I want. Imagine if for the since okay you have not covered a Jenkins, I'm just telling you. So for Jenkins, the port number is 8080. I can give that 8080. I can give some uh, different stuff TCP. I can give some SSH, the 22 port. I can give HTTP, that is 443. Okay, the HTTPS 443. For HTTP is 80. So I can give all those protocol. I can give as many I want, but NSL will always be one. Okay, so this is the one,
Yeah.
and what is it? Okay, so if this will okay, where if you see my cursor, this will be my public subnet. You can see here public subnet is written out already.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
this will be my private subnet. So when you talk about the public subnet will have the internet, but private subnet will not have the internet. So this we will see in the in coming classes how we actually can create the private subnet, because I already told you through the NAT gateway. Okay, NAT gateway will be inside the public subnet, and through the public subnet, and that will be connected to the private subnet. That's how the private subnet comes, the internet comes to it. But if they'll ask, then if the interviewer will ask, like, does private subnet having the internet? You have to say no. It doesn't have the no, but there is a provision through the NAT gateway. Through that, we can do that. Okay. I think NAT
Okay.
gateway, the full form is I think NAT network administrative address, network address transmission. Through that only we can get to it. Okay, this is the one. Okay, and what else? This is the one. So creating a VPC will always be your first task. Whenever you create any networking or configuration, no, whenever you have to create this infra, so creating a VPC will always be your first task. Okay, so whenever you're creating a project, okay, and because as I
Yeah.
told you earlier, default VPC is not reliable because it's not good practice. Not good practice. What we are not using it at all. Okay, like
Yeah.
okay. So this is important. This you should know it. And as I told you about the landing zone as well. So before the landing zone, you have to create this kind of all the stuff, how the things will gonna work, and yeah, and I'll come to the IP address as well. One second, let me see that if there's anything I have to cover. If this is router is done. And do you have any we'll talk about IP address. You wait for some time. Okay, you have any doubt up to here? Like you have this virtual private is kind of same only. It's just it's allowing into the inside the landing zone. Okay, that is the only thing. And yeah, it's like and what was that's it. I think here, but you should know this thing. Okay, please make note of it. Uh, you at least try to no, at least try a diagram later, not now. Later on, you can try the diagram and you will try to understand how the flow is coming to your instance. This is your instance. Up to here, we are discussing how the instance are working. Like, okay, but how it is coming.
Correct.
Okay, so this through this the internet gateway. The moment you draw the diagram, no, it will be easier for you to to replicate the things. Like how okay, this is how the flow is working. Because if I ask you
Got
to
it.
if I'll ask you to remember it, it will be pretty tough for you. But the moment you draw the diagram, no, you don't have to draw all. You just have to draw like kind of a small one boundary, create the one
Just from my
boundary.
understanding.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. For your understanding, just create one boundary, just create one internet gateway. See the VPC is there, the subnet is there, the internet gateway is there, router is coming, the router table is NACL, NACL is coming to, and you can see here there are two subnets. For this reason, I am creating a public subnet. For this is the private subnet. And yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, the IP address. Let's talk about the IP address. Okay, and then what is this? What are the cider, cider, router, SYG. Yeah. Okay. So if I'll talk about here's the time. Okay. So if I'll talk about if you see here, uh, these are all nothing but CIDR is nothing but classless inter-domain routing. Okay. CIDR is
Yeah.
classless inter-domain routing. It will actually route your traffic to the particular instance where you want to where it has to go. And these are all the mask value. These are the the IP address and all. Okay, I'll show you one second. So it's coming 10.0.0 to 10 prefix 8. Okay, that's the 10.0.0. I'll show you one second. 10.0.0 0. And if I see here, you can see here how it is coming. So first, so because I'll tell you what, you might have wondered. See, okay, see, if I start this service, you come to know like there is some public IP address will also come, and there's private IP address also coming. Okay, now I will talk about the
Yes.
public IP. Okay, now you might be wondering how it this public address is coming to this web server, and whenever I stop it, whenever I create the new one, eventually it's coming the new one. Okay, so the thing is, in the background, Amazon is having their own pool of IP addresses. Okay, since they already know it, it's this public IP address and it can access by anyone. So that is the reason, for a security purpose, they actually keep on changing it. And private IP is not changing. You can ask, okay, like why the private IP? But if you want to make it idle, so that for that purpose we can use the elastic IP, which I've already told you how to get that. We can allocate the IP at elastic IP, and that's how in real time scenario in the companies, this is how it is working. Okay, this is how it is working.
Yeah.
So this is the one, and if I'll tell you, these are the one. Like if coming to 8, okay. So there is a scenario 8, 16, 24. So if I talk about one second, if I move the value 16, if you see here, this count become less. So this is how the pool of IP these many IP addresses Amazon got it. If I move it 24, these many IP addresses only got it. Okay, and remember one more thing: 8, 16, 24. That means 8, 16, 24. So only I can change only this value. I'm not supposed to change this
Okay.
value. I'm not supposed to change this value. Only supposed to change this value. This is what we call mask value. Okay, I am supposed to this is the real time industry. They practice the follow. So only I can change the last value. Okay, until they're not asking, please don't go for it. Don't explain all the things. Please make note
Okay.
of that. Okay, it's very important. And
Sure.
yeah, so okay, so this will be your starting IP range, and this will be going to be the last IP range. And this count is nothing but like we can say these many IP addresses we are going to get it. Okay, so if I'll go further, 192.168.0.0.16. Okay, let's go for it. 192.168.0.0. So I'm getting 256. So this is order 0.0. Yeah, so this is the what we have. Okay, so you have to understand the concept, how we are getting the IP address now, how all these IP addresses will come. Okay, Amazon is having all their pool of IP addresses which is running at the background, and they keep on allocating whenever you create their web servers. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Sure.
Okay, so this is the one, and internet gateway. So this is we should know all these components now. So internet gateway is it allows the good traffic to come in and stop the bad traffic to and it's and these all this traffic it's coming from the internet only. Okay, and yeah, I think this is it. And so we will create the okay. So routing table is and here uh, in router is having the route table. Okay, one more thing. Uh, can I change it? Wait, are you able to? Can you see this? Are you able to see? I changed the diagram.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a cropped.
yeah, I've changed the flow. Okay, so what is happening over now? So if you see here, okay, not okay, okay, please. So yeah, so this is the one. If I'll go for it, so if I'll talk about here, so I'll go to our VPC. Okay, so this is the VPC. This is how we actually create all those VPC and all the stuff. So all the stuff will be there. There are actually two ways. Okay, how you can do it and how. So these, if you see here, your VPC subnets, routing tables, internet gateway. egress. We'll talk about this thing. Elastic IPs, NAT gateway. This is very important. Peer connection, and this is all the stuff. Okay. If I go for it, create a VPC. I'm not doing it. I'm just I'm about to end the class. I'm just telling you. Probably we'll discuss these things in the next class. Okay. So if you see here, VPC. When you talk about a VPC, okay, here when I create the VPC, so here all the things, rest of the things, I have to create on my own. Router, routing table, the security group, instance, and all the things we have to do it on my own. The internet gateway, all the things. But if I choose the VPC and more, okay, what will happen? Your subnet will be created on its own. You can see here. You see here, nothing is coming. When the moment I VPC and more, you will see here how it is coming. I chose the name, it auto generated. You can change the name as well. Project VPC, that is going to be VPC, and these all the subnet. If you change the value, see here, if I change the value, one public subnet, one private subnet. Okay.
Okay.
And okay,
Okay.
this is, yeah. So here we are not using the NAT gateway. First, I'll show you through the, like, how it is coming to the normal, like as usual, the VPC part, and then we are going to create the, I'll show you how what is the difference, because when I after that I'll use the NAT gateway, so that you come to know what are the difference between NAT gateway and the when you are using the NAT gateway, when you are not using the NAT gateway. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, so this is it for the day. Just wanted to give you the overview. So inshallah, next class we'll start doing the practical and all this stuff, because
Inshallah.
because I know it will be too much for you to digest. It's completely new scenario for you. So just go through it once. What I just told you. If you have any doubt, please come to me. And I told you what are the interview questions will come. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. NACL, difference between NACL and security group. Okay, Azan is also happening. So, this thing, the difference between public subnet and the private subnet and all. Okay, we'll discuss. Don't worry. Okay, the Azan, it's happening. So,